All right, Pop Darts world, here it is. The most controversial, maybe not, but why not? Let's put some controversy out there. The most controversial segment that the Commish has ever come up with. I figured I'd give you guys, like any other sport, let's do a top 10. Twice a month, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to tell you the Commish's top 10 players in the world. This segment sponsored by M-Fish, power chargers, power banks. Awesome stuff, guys. I'll throw a link in there. They've been awesome sponsors to me, to the league. Charges your phone real fast. Really cool stuff. So I'll have some videos out on that stuff later. But all right, should we get to it? I like to start out by saying you can debate me. I don't care. This is the Commish's top 10. This is who I think the top players in the world are right now. My criteria for that is I've got to have seen you play, guys. Part of this is the eye test, the field test. We're too new for stats or finishes to really play as much of a weighted impact as really, at least to me, as the eye test. What do I see when I see you guys play? Who have I seen you play? How does it work? That's how I do it. So to be honest with you, there is no real reasoning. I have my own reasoning, but there's no actual, statistical basis, to back this stuff up. That being said, I think this list is pretty darn accurate. So debate me. Tell me who's way too high, who's way too low. Who did I leave off that I need to see play? Let's do this. So I'm going to start out actually by jumping on three guys that, man, I almost had these guys on that list. I almost had them on my top 10. I'm going to call these guys, my fringe or almost made it or honorable mentions, whatever you want. And those guys really, Mark out of Space Coast Pop Darts, Mark Glenn, fantastic player, has really been hitting specialty shots like crazy lately, just on the outside of this one. And really just because there's only 10 names. Another one, kid out of Iowa, Rowan, dude, every time I see you play, you're killing it. You beat and compete with a lot of the best players. You played a lot of matches against a lot of guys on this list. So Rowan didn't make it on the list. And the last guy would be Derek out of Space Coast Pop Darts. Same thing. Not only did you beat up on me pretty good, and I think multiple times when I came down to see guys for regionals, but you're close. You play a lot of these guys on this list, and you do a great job against them. So those would be my three honorable mentions that I'll toss, shout out to and say, hey, these guys are awesome. But what does that mean? Let's start with the top 10. All right, I'm going to start here with a player that not a lot of people are going to know. I like that. I think it's a good thing that we get people out there that are good players that may not have necessarily put the games in. But my top 10 player in the world right now is Jake Nicholson out of the Mad City Doinks Club. He has played league up there. He hasn't played a lot of tournaments, no big tournaments. And he's relatively unknown. That being said, he throws a great dart. He's a hard person to beat. He's a hard person to get around. He's tall, lanky, can throw over blockers. Real good player to start out here in the 10th spot. Moving up to the 9th spot, I got another kid out of Iowa, man. I don't know what they're feeding those kids, but my shout out here is to Mitchell Covington, man. Cathead kid is good, and every time I see the Cathead kid in person, he seems to get better. This guy doesn't make a lot of bad darts, and when he does, he crawls. He really just claws himself back into every game. So he's one of those guys that, as a player, he's never really out of any match, and that makes you scary. That puts you into the Commish's top 10. The next, I'm gonna go with, and this one is gonna be interesting, guys. I'm gonna go with the guy that is not even ranked in the top 100 nationally yet. And that's a guy by the name of Dylan Teets. And he is an axe thrower, really good axe thrower, new to Pop Darts, really new to Pop Darts, but he's got good stuff. He throws a good position A. He battles. He's still new. So a lot of the strategy and stuff is still not quite there yet. But that's because he's got probably half as many matches as a lot of these guys on this list, if not fewer than that. That being said, he's got all the skill in the world. Throws a nice, consistent release, great dart. He's a guy, again, similar to Jake. He's got a little length to him. And I think those guys are tough because your blockers, they go right over top of you with a really good angle, on the dart. So that's who's coming into my 8th spot. Moving into the 7th spot, man, is he fun to watch. And in so many ways, probably one of the most electrifying players on this list in terms of watching these guys play the game of Pop Darts. And that is going to be Zach out of that Space Coast Pop Darts League. He makes tough throws. He is fun and exciting and electric to watch, and he doesn't hesitate to go for the big shots, and that makes him a ton of fun to watch, a ton of fun. If you guys are at a tournament and Zach is there, do not miss any match that he plays. Great guy, a lot of fun to watch play, and again, all the skills to match it. Happens to be a Florida regional champ as well, so he's got some hardware to back up, that ranking. Moving up one spot on the list is going to be Mr. Tattoo himself, DJ Long out of the 904 Pop Darts Club. Throws a dart with such precision. He does not miss a lot. Actually, the one knock on his game might be that he hits too many off the base of the target, which, as we all know, is not a huge knock on anybody's game. That means he's right there. He's the only member currently of the 15 club, for those of you that don't know. So he's got 15 points in one set of 3 darts, which is incredibly difficult to do. It's an amazing achievement. So DJ Long out of the 904 Pop Darts Club, fantastic player, wears his, his yellow and purple jersey, his Yurple jerseys, his go-to, his signature. It's got the nice tattoo inked on the arm. Great player, not somebody you want to see on the schedule if that's what you got going on. Brings me to, all right, let's call it now our top 5. So I don't know if some of these names are going to surprise you guys in the top 5 or not. It's just, again, I kind of look at where people are today as of, this is going to be aired and recorded on January 26th of 2026. So things could change in a week. Things could change in 2 weeks. But right now, starting out my top 5 is Luke. He's out of Florida, Mad City Doinks. He hasn't left our club since he played a game with us. So although he plays in just about every league down in Florida, I still take credit for Luke up here in the Mad City Doinks, and he does run a ton of the virtual, runs the virtual leagues, plays in the virtual leagues. But Luke's on a hot streak. Holy cow, he's got 3 straight wins. His specialty shots are they're happening every time. They're not few and far between. This guy is putting the dart where it needs to be and is playing as hot as anybody in the game right now. So I've talked to Luke. Luke always said he wants to continue to fly under the radar. Sorry, dude, I've watched you play. You're not flying under the Commish's radar. So he comes out in the 5 spot for me this week. Moving up to 4, it's our 3rd Iowa guy, I guess second on the list, but our 3rd Iowa guy in Blake Covington. This guy is a hard out. He's a hard out. He plays against good competition. The guys in his club are fantastic. He's taught the game to a lot of the guys that he knows and golfs with, and they've gotten good, but he's still at the top of those guys. So when you're playing against good players and you're beating good players, it's really hard to not have you on this list. And Blake comes in at 4. I don't like playing him. I don't like, he's never out of a game. No matter how well you're playing, he doesn't give you an easy out. And he's played against big players, won a lot of big matches. And I think his arrow's pointing up right now out of Iowa. And again, tough out. In some of the big tournaments, he's had some specialty shots hit against him, like the next guy on our list. But Blake is a phenomenal player. I would really like to see, where he goes and where he gets to as he plays some of these guys from other states and other regions, because he's got the throw. He's consistent and he doesn't miss a lot. Bringing me to number 3. This guy is not off of anybody's radar, guys. All right, so he is our number 1 in the world, number 3 on the Commish's list, but ranked number 1 in the world. This guy has every tool. He is every tool in the bag. He hits specialty shots. He's got length. He doesn't miss position A lot. he's a tough victory. In fact, if you look at some of his big tournaments that he has not won or placed first in or dominated in, the only way to go and get this guy, Mr. Cole Hunter, is to go get a specialty shot on him. There's not a lot of guys going nice and easy and dinking and doinking him because he can play that game with you, but he also can get those specialty shots. So Cole rounds out, starts my top 3 because the dude's hard to beat. If he loses, he lost in regionals twice, both times T-knobbers where it had to be hit against him. Just not going to give you guys much, and he has continued to beat the best in the world every time he faces him. So that's why I've got Cole in my 3rd spot. All right, guys, 2 left. There's a lot of you guys that know me or have watched the podcast. You might have an idea who's coming on this list. I don't know if many of you guys are going to be shocked at the order by which I put these 2 players. So, without further ado, here's my top 2. Rounding out the 2nd spot is our current world champion, our national champion, the prodigy himself, Colton Davis, comes in at 2 on the Commish's list for best players in the world right now. Colton is nearly impossible to beat. This guy does not waver. He has ice water in his veins. He's a national champ for a reason. He just does not make it easy on you. Colton he can hit the specialty shots, but he rarely needs to because Colton doesn't miss a lot of darts. And no stage is too big for him. And that's a big piece of, some of these guys at the top of this rating is they've been on the big stage. They've dominated on the big stage. And Colton Davis's arrow is only pointing up, guys. He's not going to get easier to beat. Anybody that thinks that, he came into a field with few players and now there's going to be a bunch more and more people likely get him, I don't think so, guys. I really think Colton is up for the challenge. I think Colton's going to kill it in the tournaments. He can lose a match and then come back and double dip. He just does not. Nothing phases the kid. It's impressive. It's awesome. It's great to see. And, I would also say, guys, everybody on this list are amazing players. There are thousands of players playing Pop Darts worldwide right now. These are the top 10 that I've had the pleasure of meeting and playing with and against, and that's where they rounded us out. Which brings me to my number 1 player in the world right now. Okay, guys, there might be some bias, go ahead, so sue me. But right now, and I'll tell you why, my top player in the world is Tyler Davis, Mr. T. And the reason I'm going to give him the nod over his son simply comes down to I could have flipped the coin, or quite possibly he's due. He's due. If you put those 2 up against each other, they play each other all the time, but he's due. And the other piece that you guys are going to find, the other reason that I put him a little bit ahead of Colton is Mr. Reliability. The man doesn't miss. He always hits position A. He messes with his opponent, gets where you want to go. But Mr. T is a specialty shot guy, man. And that, to me, I think is changing the game. He's got a Sports Center top 10, yes, but he hits tower shots with ease. He goes and hits the T-knobber. He hits lippies. He is a guy that in sanctioned play does not waver from specialty shots. And to me, that spells dangerous, guys. He can play, he can dink, he can dunk, but a guy that doesn't waver, a guy that doesn't need to go for it because he's down or to put an exclamation point, a guy that works a specialty shot into his game with regularity, it's just dangerous. It's incredibly dangerous. So I have seen nothing that would indicate that these guys on the top of this list can be beat. And I know that there is, I'll say things, hey, shout out to guys like Cole and guys that you haven't got the chance to face, Mr. T and Colton. I know you're chomping at the bit, and I know you're going to be up for the competition. I love everything about it. But those guys are at the top for a reason. They play the best all the time. They currently are the best. Now, go get them, guys. Let's go. This is just the Commish's top 10. Tell me who I missed. Tell me why I'm wrong. Call me full of crap. I'm good with all that. Let's go. This is supposed to be fun. I had a blast. And hey, I'm going to jump back here in 2 weeks. And we're going to do it all again, guys. Let's see who can hop. Let's see who can get on that list. Let's see who's on my radar. I've got a couple guys that I've seen play that I want to see show up. I want to see them be more consistent. There's another couple of guys that I got on like I guess I call it a short list that I just haven't seen enough out of them. I just haven't seen enough consistency in their game. They have good shots, they have great play, but nothing on the consistent level to really knock any of these guys out of the top 10. So, Commish's top 10.